and welcome to my Oscars week videos. I will leave a playlist of my Oscars week videos linked up here, so if you're watching these after the fact or you are watching them out of order, they're all in a playlist up here. I really love making book versus movie videos. Then I transitioned into making some movie reviews videos every week, and so I loved making these Oscar week videos last year, so I'm making them again this year. And I'm making 5 rather than 7 because I have a lot of things to talk about on this channel. So I've divided them into 5 different videos, so if there's one of the particular things that you want to hear more than the others, if it hasn't come up yet, rest assured it will be coming. So this video is talking about actors and actresses, so the nominations for actor in a leading and supporting role and the nominations for actress in a leading and supporting role. I have my cheat sheet here with all the nominations on. So I'm going to do them in the order that they are in the list. So actor in a leading role, first of all, we have Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Jonathan Rice for The Two Popes. This one is a bit of a no-brainer just because Joaquin Phoenix has been winning all the awards in this category so far. I mentioned in my review of Joker and after my rewatch of Joker that he just did an amazing job. So he is my pick and he is also my prediction. But just to break it down, I didn't think that Antonio Banderas did a very good job in Pain and Glory. I thought that he was really quite wooden and didn't do an awful lot with the character, and so I was a bit puzzled by his nomination. Then Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think did as good a job as Brad Pitt in this movie. Brad Pitt definitely stood out more for me. Again, I felt that Leo was just a little bit one-dimensional. I mean, he's always fun to watch on the big screen, and you know, he's kind of always going to get a nomination, but again, harking back to my, you know, where's Christian Bale and Matt Damon and Noah Jupe on this list, like not just because of Ford versus Ferrari, but Noah Jupe for Honey Boy or Shia LaBeouf for Honey Boy, you know, like that film blew me away. I really enjoyed it, and so there are a couple of people on this list that I don't know why they're there over other people, but it's not my decision. I don't actually get to vote. I'm just sharing my thoughts with you here. Adam Driver, I thought, did an amazing job in Marriage Story. I'm a massive Adam Driver fan anyway, but the way he played that role, you know, it was a roller coaster of emotions, and part of it was him and Scarlett Johansson and their performances, as well as, you know, obviously the writing and direction. The film was a lot more varied than I thought it was going to be. I just thought it was going to be entirely upsetting the whole way through, and it really wasn't, and I love it for that. And then Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes, I think definitely did a really good job. The role was kind of meant for him. Everyone talks about how much he looks like that Pope. And I think that he did a good job, and I enjoyed watching him on the screen. It's interesting having watched him in Evita all these years ago, playing someone from Argentina, and then to watch this again, it's like we've kind of come full circle. But he definitely stood out more for me than Anthony Hopkins in the film. I feel like Anthony Hopkins was just playing Anthony Hopkins. Then we have actor in a supporting role. Again, there's kind of a standout in this one. So nominated we have Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Love that film. Think it probably should have got more Oscar nominations than it did. Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes. Don't know why he was nominated. Al Pacino and Joe Pesci for The Irishman. Again, I don't think that they did an amazing job. I feel like they were pretty one-dimensional. Yeah, I feel like Al Pacino did a pretty good job, but again, I felt like he was kind of just playing Al Pacino in this one. And there are other actors that could have made this list aside from them. But all these actors have all been nominated and have won Oscars previously. So this would have been a really hard list to get onto. Also, I didn't mention Taron Egerton as well. Felt like he should have been nominated in the previous category, and obviously he won the Golden Globe in that category as well, so where was he in the Oscar nominations? And then Brad Pitt, again, keeps winning in this category at all the other awards. I feel like he's going to win again. He definitely stood out to me more than Leonardo DiCaprio did in that film, more than Margot Robbie did in that film. He's the one that I remember his performance, and so he's my pick and my prediction as well. Then we have actress in a leading role. This is a really hard one for me. I'm really divided on my particular pick. And I think, again, the award has always gone to the same person in all the award shows so far. However, I have another favourite on this list. So we have Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. I thought she did an amazing job in that film, and her nomination is definitely deserved. Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, again, I've already mentioned. I think that she was brilliant to watch on screen, and I love the fact that she's been nominated in 2 different categories this year, because I really like watching her on screen, and I like what she does, and I like the way she kind of comes to her characters. They sometimes, a lot of people play a lot of similar characters, but I think she plays very different characters, and in like just about every genre, let's face it. Then we have Saoirse Ronan in Little Women. I think, you know, any kind of remake of Little Women, almost everyone would pick Saoirse Ronan to be Jo in that film. And I think her performance was amazing, because Jo is so different in the past storyline to the present storyline. And yet she is still obviously the same person and the same actress, and she's with the same ensemble. And so I think that Saoirse Ronan did a really good job of playing her so differently. And then we have my 2 favourites, Charlize Theron in Bombshell. This I went and rewatched. Unfortunately, it hasn't got as many nominations as I would have hoped that it would, because I think it was a stunning film, and something that I would have picked over some of the other picture nominations in this, which is for another video, obviously. But I just think that she did such an amazing job. Like, I never once believed that it wasn't Megyn Kelly on the screen, the way she kind of keeps her voice level, the way she plays the part, and the way it kind of all plays out on the screen. She really brought it to life, and I just thought she did an amazing job. And I think that if you ask me for my pick, I think it would probably be her. However, Renée Zellweger for Judy, as her portrayal of Judy Garland, I also thought she did an amazing job, and I'm surprised that this film didn't get more nominations as well. It's interesting because you can't really kind of almost have another acting nomination for this, because it's a film called Judy, and you've got the actress playing Judy Garland, and you've got the actress playing Judy Garland. She's on screen all the time. She does amazing things, and you know, I think she's obviously the one who will probably win this award, and I think it will be well deserved. And, you know, her and Charlize Theron are definitely my 2 favourites, but if, you know, you made me pick one, I would personally pick Charlize Theron, just because her performance kind of blew me away. But Renée Zellweger's performance has kind of grown as it sat with me, whereas Charlize Theron was like straight away like, wow, this is amazing. Then we have actress in a supporting role. We have Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell. So Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell, I think, gave a really good performance. I don't know. I think the reason that it doesn't kind of stand out as memorable for me is because the film is called Richard Jewell and is mainly about Richard Jewell, and he's on the screen a lot of the time. And then we also have Sam Rockwell and John Hamm, who are on the screen a lot of the time. I feel like Kathy Bates didn't get a lot of screen time, and so that is why her performance doesn't stand out as memorable to me. When she was on the screen, I remember her performance being really good, but yeah, it doesn't kind of stand out to me and doesn't stick in my memory. But I think that's because of the other people who were on the screen around her. Then Laura Dern in Marriage Story. I think I've spoken on this channel before about the fact that I am not a fan of Laura Dern, and her performances do sometimes annoy me a little bit. She really annoyed me in Little Women, and it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the film. I'm still, as I'm filming this, going to go and rewatch it again before the Oscars. But yeah, I don't think, again, her performance doesn't stand out to me as a performance in that film. She was definitely overshadowed by the leading actors in that film, but also, you know, I don't remember a lot of her scenes. I don't remember a lot about what she contributed to the film, and so she wouldn't be my pick, but she's winning a lot of the awards, so obviously other people have noticed her, and this is where, you know, it's wonderful and why I like to give my opinion as well. Then Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit does stand out for me. She really, I think, delivered a great performance. I think that her as this, you know, mother who's gone through hardship and is going through hardship and knows that bad stuff is going down, you know, she really delivers that across the screen. It doesn't stand out as, oh, now, you know, now something bad's happened, but we can't really see it in the acting. And, you know, we see a shift in things, and we see that kind of like struggling to keep a brave face for her child at the same time as knowing that everything's awful and they have no food and they're probably going to die. Because, you know, that's Jojo Rabbit for you. And I thought that, yeah, she did a really, really good job. Margot Robbie in Bombshell, I think, really did an amazing job. And I don't really understand why Margot Robbie's been nominated but Nicole Kidman hasn't been nominated. I'm sure she was on the long list, but for me, both of them stood out as supporting actresses who did really good jobs. There's one particular scene in Bombshell that Margot Robbie just delivers so well. I'm sure, you know, it would be probably the scene that's highlighted when they play out the nominations and when they have played out the nominations in other award ceremonies. I think that she did a really good job as well. And then Florence Pugh on a rewatch of Little Women, again, I really enjoyed her performance. I thought that, again, a bit like the Saoirse Ronan and Joe's story arc and how the character has to change from the past storyline to the present storyline, and you know, Amy probably has to change the most because she goes from being what's basically a little girl into being a little woman, and she has to go through this kind of, from this selfish small person to being a more mature person who has seen more of the world and who has gone through more hardship than her former self. And I think that that is, you know, played really well as well. So I think that, I mean, probably my pick and my prediction would be between Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, but I also thought that Margot Robbie did a really good job. And I, you know, really, it's interesting because I really didn't enjoy Jojo Rabbit as a film, but I really enjoyed Scarlett Johansson's performance, and I also enjoyed Sam Rockwell's performance, and don't understand why he hasn't been nominated because I really enjoyed his performance in Richard Jewell as well. But yeah, the fact that I enjoyed her performance whilst not enjoying the film kind of stands out to me, that it was a really good performance. And then the fact that I really enjoyed Little Women and Bombshell kind of makes it difficult for me to pick. So, you know, I'm going with my pick as Florence Pugh, and maybe just because she's such an Oscar darling, maybe my prediction is Margot Robbie. But yeah, so there are my thoughts on the actors and actresses nominated. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's start a discussion about those people that we believe were snubbed. I will be back with more Oscar thoughts for you tomorrow. As I say, there will be a playlist linked up here if you're watching these out of order. Make sure you are subscribed so that Oscars video lands in your subscription feed, or if you're here for the book stuff, that will be back next week. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow.